For legendary actor Gene Hackman, his wife and their dog were all found dead inside of their home. Now, according to a search warrant, investigators found no signs of carbon monoxide.
Just when we thought the mystery surrounding Gene Hackman's final days couldn't get any darker, a chilling new video has surfaced. And this time, it's not about Hackman himself. It's about his beloved dog. A viral video is now spreading across the internet, showing disturbing footage of Hackman's dog's final moments, and what it reveals is more terrifying than anyone expected. Some say it proves foul play. Others believe it was a warning. But one thing is certain, this was not a natural death. The video they never wanted you to see. The footage, leaked anonymously, appears to show Hackman's dog collapsing suddenly, as if something was happening to it in real time. One moment, the dog is standing, alert. The next, it begins staggering, as if dizzy or disoriented. Then, it lets out a chilling, painful howl before collapsing completely. Something was wrong. But the most disturbing detail? The dog was alone when it happened. No sign of Hackman, no sign of struggle, just sudden, unexplained distress. And then, gone. The timing is too suspicious. Let's not forget, Hackman's dog died just days before Hackman himself. Was this just a coincidence, or was it a calculated message? Because now, with this video surfacing, experts are beginning to suspect the unthinkable. Was the dog poisoned? Did someone break into Hackman's home and do something to it? Or did the dog react to something terrifying? Something it saw but couldn't escape? And most importantly, was Hackman next? A closer look at the video. Disturbing clues emerge. Forensic experts have already analyzed the footage, and their findings are deeply unsettling. No signs of a struggle, meaning the dog wasn't attacked physically. No visible wounds, but distressing behavior suggests internal damage. Bloodshot eyes before collapse, a potential sign of toxin exposure or suffocation. Strange shadows in the background. Some claim they see movement, but no clear figure can be identified. What does this mean? Many now believe the dog didn't just die, it was targeted. Did the dog uncover something it wasn't supposed to? Another theory has emerged, one that is even more chilling. What if the dog sensed something? Did it hear something beneath the house? Did it see an intruder in the shadows? Was it reacting to a threat that Hackman never saw coming? Dogs are known for their heightened senses. They can pick up on danger long before humans do. So what if this wasn't just a poisoning or a random event? What if this was the dog's final warning before it was silenced? And if that's true, what was it trying to warn Hackman about? The FBI's involvement. Why did they seize the footage? The most disturbing part? The FBI was notified about the video the moment it went viral. And instead of dismissing it as unimportant, they immediately stepped in to have it removed from multiple platforms. Copies were wiped from social media. Original uploaders were silenced or had their accounts suspended. The full version of the footage is now nearly impossible to find. Why? If this was just a simple case of a dog's death, why go to such extreme lengths to hide it? Unless it proves something they don't want the world to see. Theories that can't be ignored. With every passing hour, more people are piecing together the disturbing puzzle. Here are the leading theories. 1. The dog was poisoned as a warning to Hackman. Hackman had dangerous information and was possibly being watched. The death of his dog was a psychological attack, a message that he was next. 2. The dog was eliminated for what it saw. What if the dog witnessed someone breaking into Hackman's property? What if it was silenced before it could alert Hackman to what was coming? 3. There was something in Hackman's house that killed it. Was there a hidden gas leak, a secret toxin, or an experimental substance that caused the dog to die? And if so, was Hackman exposed to it next? 4. The video was released as a distraction from the bigger truth. What if someone leaked the footage on purpose to steer attention away from what really happened to Hackman? The dog's death may be a smaller piece of a much bigger conspiracy. One thing is for sure, this video was never meant to go public. And now that it has, the FBI is working overtime to bury it. What happens next? The full video is being removed from the internet at an alarming rate. People who have seen it describe the footage as deeply unsettling. And still, no official explanation has been given for why Hackman's dog died in such a disturbing way. But the timeline is impossible to ignore. The dog dies mysteriously. Days later, Hackman himself is dead. Now the FBI is scrambling to erase any evidence. Something isn't right, and the more they try to hide the truth, the more suspicious it becomes. Why didn't Gene Hackman's kids check in on him? The mysterious family secrets revealed, a legend left alone. But why? Gene Hackman was one of Hollywood's greatest actors, a man whose presence on screen commanded respect. Yet, in his later years, he disappeared from the spotlight, retiring to a quiet life in Santa Fe, New Mexico. But what's most unsettling isn't his retirement. It's the fact that despite his legendary career and wealth, his own children seemingly never checked in on him. As the world mourned his passing, one question echoed louder than the rest. Why was Gene Hackman left to live out his final days in isolation? Where were his kids, and why didn't they step in? The family that never looked back. Hackman had 3 children, Christopher, Leslie, and Elizabeth Hackman. Unlike their father, they stayed far from Hollywood's limelight, living private lives away from the industry that made their dad a household name. But what's strange is that they were almost never seen publicly with him. Unlike other celebrity families, where children are often spotted supporting their parents at events, the Hackman kids were virtually absent from their father's later life. Even as his health declined, even as he aged into his 90s, his children never seemed to be around. Why? Was there a falling out that nobody knew about? Did Gene push them away? Or was there something deeper? Something buried in the shadows of his past? The shocking lack of contact. By the time Hackman entered his later years, he was living in complete privacy. Unlike many other aging stars, he had no major public support system, no family gatherings, no children by his side. And when his death was announced, his children didn't release any statements. There was no public tribute, no emotional message about losing a father, no stories of cherished memories. It was as if he had already been forgotten long before he passed. Was there a broken relationship? Sources close to Hackman suggest that his family was never truly close. Reports indicate that after his divorce from his first wife, Faye Maltese, in 1986, his relationship with his children began to fade. Did the divorce create a divide that was never repaired? Did Hackman's dedication to his Hollywood career come at the cost of his family bonds? Friends claim that, even before his retirement, Hackman had grown distant from his children. Some say he was simply a private man who didn't like attachments. Others believe there was a rift that no one ever spoke about. If that's the case, the question becomes, who distanced themselves first, Gene or his kids? A man who never looked back. One thing is clear, Hackman didn't seem to chase after relationships. Even as he stepped away from acting, even as his health declined, he made no effort to reconnect publicly with his children. Some believe that, after spending his life in the spotlight, he simply wanted to be left alone. Others think he harbored regrets, but felt it was too late to fix things. And then, there's the more chilling possibility. What if there was something that kept his children away? Did his children know something we didn't? As more details emerged after his passing, some started questioning whether Hackman's children were avoiding him for a reason. Was there something about his life, something about his past, that made them want to keep their distance? Did they uncover something about their father that changed their perception of him? Was there a deep-rooted issue, hidden from the public, that fractured their relationship beyond repair? Or were they simply uninterested in reconnecting, choosing their own paths away from their father's shadow? The truth remains elusive, but one fact is undeniable. Gene Hackman, one of Hollywood's greatest stars, spent his final years alone. And his children? They never came back. A sad Hollywood legacy. Gene Hackman's death marks the end of an era, but it also leaves behind an unsettling truth that even the most successful, the most celebrated, the most talented individuals can find themselves alone.
The deaths of Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman and his wife, whose bodies were found in their Santa Fe home.
Some blood pressure and thyroid medication, as well as a medical record inside the home as they hunt for more clues.
When Gene Hackman and his wife passed away, the The world assumed it was a simple case of natural causes. But what happened after their deaths has raised disturbing questions. Questions that no one in the media is addressing. Because now, shocking reports suggest their bodies did not follow a normal post-mortem process. Where were they taken? Why have key medical records been sealed? And why did authorities move so quickly to remove all traces of their remains? Something isn't adding up, and the more we dig into this mystery, the more unsettling it becomes. Their bodies vanished without a trace. Following their passing, Hackman and his wife's remains should have gone through standard procedures: an autopsy, a formal medical report, a burial or cremation with family involvement. But instead, something highly unusual happened. Official records of their post-mortem process have been heavily redacted. Their bodies were removed from the medical examiner's office faster than normal.
This was the moment when we began to provide care for the sick. This was the moment when the rise of the oceans began to slow and our planet began to heal.
It's no news that politics is a dark game, and the secrets Tucker Carlson just revealed about Barack Obama have proven that. Tucker Carlson has made allegations against Obama of criminal offenses the former U.S. president supposedly committed 2 years ago.
Just ask the obvious question, what was Obama like on crack? Is it your sense that that's who Obama is, just transactional, or that he's bisexual, or like what is this?
It definitely wasn't Barack's first time.
Not only did Tucker get support from someone with a well-known criminal record to back his claims, but he's still intent on turning the world against Obama. To make matters worse, Barack Obama isn't the only U.S. president with an issue with the law. What were the shocking secrets Tucker leaked that, if proven with more evidence, could end Barack's positive reputation? And who is the second U.S. president on the verge of being imprisoned? Keep watching as we reveal what has happened behind the scenes of federal operations over the past few months. Tucker Carlson exposed. Barack Obama's corruption. The feud between Tucker Carlson and Barack Obama all started in September 2022, when Tucker ran a popular show on Fox News with millions of viewers, but in April, he was suddenly fired without an apparent reason given by Fox. Carlson believes it was because of the media company's settlement with Dominion Voting Systems, but both Fox and Dominion deny any connection between his firing and the settlement. Even with the humiliation, Carlson quickly started a new show on X, formerly Twitter, called Tucker on Twitter. By mid-2023, he started using cheap tactics to stay relevant, and you'll be disappointed by them. He would invite controversial guests on his show just to boost ratings. Although everything about Carlson is distasteful, he reached a new low in September 2023. In a desperate attempt for attention, he interviewed a man named Larry Sinclair, who made outrageous claims about having taken drugs and having sexual encounters with Barack Obama, while the former president was working in the Illinois government before his rise to power.
I had given Barack $250 to pay for I start putting a line on a CD tray to snort, and next thing I know, he's got a little pipe and he's smoking.
Sinclair has claimed that he was not the only person who had drug-related activities with Obama, but unfortunately, there are no other supporters to back his claim because of the alleged murders orchestrated by Obama's campaign. Sinclair, who already has a well-known criminal background and seems to specialize in deceitful activities, has been standing on these allegations for about 15 years. Despite numerous news outlets dedicating substantial resources to investigate these claims, no one has ever been able to substantiate them. It is pretty confusing that while Sinclair says that Obama was involved in drug use and engaging in sexual activities at the Comfort Inn in Chicago,
I had given Barack $250 to pay for coke. I start putting a line on a CD tray.
No one else seems to know about these events or illegal activities at all. This is also particularly strange considering that during the time in question, Obama held a public position as an Illinois politician. Until now, these claims are still unverifiable because of the alleged murder of all witnesses, or simply because the entire claim is just utter nonsense. Americans have had no choice but to believe the latter is the case. Seeing as there is no evidence to support his claim, it makes you wonder what the reason behind Carlson bringing up a discredited conspiracy theory about Obama was. Did he find some new evidence that supported Sinclair's claims? Or was there even any newly discovered proof? Actually, no, that's not the case. Carlson just wanted to spend 40 minutes being racist, homophobic, and attempting to humiliate Obama. The segment, which was shown on the night of September 4th last year, contained subtle racist remarks. For instance, Carlson claimed that nobody could pronounce Obama's name, even though it is actually effortless to pronounce, and thinly veiled homophobia. Carlson made sure to show his audience that he firmly identified as heterosexual and that he would physically harm any man who made advances toward him. After the interview, Twitter was filled with conservative individuals sharing homophobic jokes about Obama. If you think about it, Carlson himself didn't really seem to believe the things he was talking about. He wasn't saying that the claims were valid, but he thought they were believable, but it's doubtful that he genuinely thought so. The broadcast wasn't convincing at all. The only thing that Carlson could say in favor of Sinclair's credibility was that a known fraudster was willing to swear under oath that what he said was true. In the so-called interview, Carlson didn't question Sinclair or ask for proof. He mainly focused on scandalous details and made surprised facial expressions. He repeatedly kept saying the words interesting and amazing. Yet, it's questionable whether anyone else found the segment intriguing and extraordinary. The interview wasn't just silly, it was uninteresting. The stories of delusional people usually are. Elon Musk, who sometimes talks about conspiracy theories, was even surprised by the interview. He said on Twitter that Sinclair's claims need to be proven with real evidence, not just words from someone with a questionable past. Musk basically said that the whole thing was not looking good for Sinclair and could be harmful. The real issue is not about Obama, but how Carlson and Twitter have gone downhill. Carlson no longer acts like a journalist and instead tries to provoke people. Twitter used to be a good place for news, but now it's full of false information. While all this was happening, Obama was unbothered and busy writing books, kite surfing, and simply enjoying his life. Carlson may have wanted to embarrass Obama, but he embarrassed himself. As if all that drama wasn't enough, Tucker Carlson isn't the only one who has ever leaked secrets about President Obama. Keep watching because things just got even more interesting. Associated Press versus the Obama administration. In January 2015, it was revealed by the Associated Press that the Department of Justice, under the orders of President Obama, had secretly monitored AP reporters. The purpose behind this surveillance was most likely an effort to suppress internal leaks. The Justice Department obtained 2-month telephone records, specifically targeting more than 20 different phone lines associated with the news agency. These lines included those used by reporters for their cell phones, office phones, and even home phones. The impact of this action could potentially affect over 100 staff members. The AP President and Chief Executive Officer, Gary Pruitt, strongly condemned this action, referring to it as a massive and unprecedented intrusion. He demanded an explanation from the DOJ regarding their motives for pursuing these records. Pruitt also insisted that the government return the phone records and ensure the destruction of any other existing copies. In a letter addressed to Attorney General Eric Holder, he expressed his strong disapproval of the extensive collection of telephone communications involving the Associated Press and its reporters. According to him, these records can potentially expose confidential sources used in all of the AP's news-gathering activities over 2 months. They also provide detailed information about the AP's news operations, which the government cannot access. He also accused the government of violating the AP's First Amendment rights, stating that this action by the Department of Justice significantly interferes with the news agency's constitutional rights to gather and report news. It didn't end there. The Department of Justice informed the AP about the secret surveillance, but did not explain why they obtained the records from April and May 2012. The records include details of calls made and received on reporters' personal phones, as well as office lines in New York, Hartford, Cannes, and Washington, D.C., including the House of Representatives line. The AP speculated that the surveillance might have been an attempt to identify the government insider who leaked information about a thwarted Yemen terror plot, which the AP reported in May 2012. The AP mentioned that prosecutors had previously requested this information from the agency and its reporters, but the news agency refused to cooperate. The DOJ collected phone records of 5 reporters and 1 editor who worked on that particular story, according to the AP. During an interview with the Washington Post, an attorney representing the AP was concerned that the breach would negatively impact the agency's ability to gather and share news effectively. The lawyer, David Schultz, said the privacy breach ruins AP's news-gathering efforts. Sources may hesitate to speak with journalists if they believe they are being used as tools for investigations by prosecutors. Unfortunately, that seems to be the case here.